regular meeting of council, September 10th, 2012. Mr. Spagna, would you please call the roll?
Allen. Dixon.
Here.
Givens.
Here.
Hannon.
Present.
Harrison.
Present.
McLean.
Here.
Mowry.
Here.
O'Brien.
Present.
Pate. 7.
We have 7 members present. Before we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd just like to remind or ask everybody following the Pledge of Allegiance, for tomorrow being September 11th, I'd like to have a moment of silence for all those in uniform who protect us and keep us safe. So at this time, I'd like to turn to the Pledge of Allegiance. We have Boy Scout Troop Number 215, Crocodile Patrol, that's going to do the flag ceremony for this evening's meeting.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn to the chair announcements. We have no announcements this evening. I'd like to turn to the library director's report.
Good evening. My name's Christine. I'm the director of your public library, where we provide services to inform, inspire, and enrich the community. All of our fall programs have started this week. One I would like to highlight is a new children's story time called Mother Goose on the Loose, and that is Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Also, we now have one-on-one technology appointments. If you have any questions about Word, Publisher, or your e-reader, whether it's a Kindle, a Nook, or a Kobo, or the Sony, or if you have questions about your digital camera, we are doing one-on-one appointments. They're for an hour on Monday and Tuesday during the day from about 9:30 to about 4, and also on Wednesday evenings from 5:30 to 8:30. So you can just call the library and make an appointment, and you get one-on-one service. One other program I'd like to talk about is a new book club. It's called the Crossover Book Club. So if you are an adult who likes to read teen books, which are really fantastic, if you like the Hunger Games, if you like the Twilight series, this is the kind of book club for you. We'll have our first meeting on Thursday, September 20th at 7 o'clock, and we're reading Under the Never Sky by Veronica Rossi. So if you're interested, again, this is for adults that like to read teen books. Also, we have 2 fundraisers coming up. Next Monday, September 17th, is our Chick-fil-A Spirit Night from 5 to 8 p.m. If you go to Chick-fil-A and just mention the library, 15% of the total sales for that evening come to the library. And also on Saturday, October 13th, is our annual fall craft/vendor sale. It's at the community center this year. This is our 3rd or 4th year. We've outgrown our space here in council chambers, so it will be at the community center. If you are a vendor and would be interested in participating in our fair, please contact me or Aaron at the library. That's all I have. For more information on these or any other programs and services offered by the library, you can visit our website at bethelparklibrary.org.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This time we turn to the police chief's report, and Chief Mackey.
Thank you, Mr. Mowry. Good evening, everyone. I have a couple of announcements this evening. First is our next Crime Watch meeting will be held on Monday, September 17th, 6:30 p.m. at the Community Center. So we're asking folks to please get involved in Crime Watch in Bethel Park. If you're so inclined, please show up at our next meeting on the 17th and get a look and a feel for Crime Watch, what it's all about, and see if it might be for you. Secondly, the department is accepting applications for the 2013 Citizen Police Academy. The Academy offers 12 weeks of instruction. We have many outside agencies, such as the FBI, Secret Service, U.S. Marshals, and of course the Bethel Park Police Department to provide instruction. We limit the class to 40 participants, and it does fill up rather quickly, so if you are interested, you can stop in at the police records room for an application, or you can contact Officer Regatti, our crime prevention officer, at 412-831-6800, extension 104. You can also email Officer Regatti. That's Regatti, RIGATTI, at BethelParkPolice.net, and he'll make sure he gets you signed up for the Academy. Our next Drug Enforcement Administration Drug Take-Back program has been scheduled for Saturday, September 29th. That'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Once again, we have 2 locations. That'll be at the Community Center and also at the Highmark Direct Building, and they are located at 1175 North Highland Road. We ask you to please bring expired, unused, unwanted medication, as long as it's in pill form, not liquid, and we suggest that you remove the pills from any containers, put them in plastic baggies, bring them to one of the drop sites and drop them off. This has been an extremely and hugely successful program, not only throughout the country, but especially here in Bethel Park. We've done 3, I believe, programs so far, and they've all been a huge success. Finally, for several years, the police department has offered child identifications to elementary school children here in Bethel Park. And what we would do is take a photograph of the child and a thumbprint, and we would immediately turn over that identification to a parent in the case that the child would go missing, and we would have identification readily available to the family and to the police. It should be noted that the police department does not keep any of that information. It's turned over to the family for future use if needed. Now, our equipment to do child identifications, it's several years old, and we were having some problems with it, so we decided to go out and purchase a new system, and as you can imagine, they're pretty expensive. So we went out and we used some of the money from our crime prevention budget. We received a $1,000 grant from Walmart, and each elementary PTA or PTO donated $500 to the project. However, it was an $11,000 project, so we were coming up a little bit short. With that in mind, we turned to our friends at the Bethel Park Community Foundation, and we filed for a grant. And I'm very pleased to announce that we have received a grant from the foundation in the amount of $5,500. And if you know anybody on the foundation board, would ask you to please thank them. They have helped the police department out in the past, and they continue to do so, especially for these very worthwhile programs. And this is probably a program we would have difficulty continuing if it wasn't for our good friends, and especially, again, to the Bethel Park Community Foundation. We will provide these IDs. We go every other year, so we'll do kindergarten, 2nd grade, 4th grade, 6th grade. So when we hit that same age group next year, of course, we stagger it. So we're not doing the same child every year, but there's an opportunity for each child in that grade level to receive a free identification. And we will also offer additional IDs if anybody wants an additional ID for a modest fee of $3. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Chief. Any other discussion? Hearing none, can we turn to the Fire Chief's report?
Good evening. My name is Tom Kelton. I'm the 3rd Lieutenant in Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company. Just want to go over the calls for the last month, the month of August. We had 4 fires, 2 rescues, 7 hazardous conditions without a fire, 1 service call, 2 good intent calls, and 11 false alarms for a total of 27 calls. Down a little bit last month, which is great. Hopefully some fire prevention tips are making their way out in the Chronicles. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. And the Chronicles are getting out to everybody. Make sure you read through there. We have a lot of great safety tips in there. Among those is to check your chimneys and fireplaces. You want to get into, start looking into that right now before you start using them. Make sure you get them inspected every year to make sure you don't have any problems with them. And also, as a great reminder, check your batteries and your smoke detectors and your carbon monoxide alarms. Okay, don't forget about the carbon monoxide alarm. If you don't have one, make sure you purchase one. Keep one at every level of your house. Carbon monoxide is something that you're not going to know about until it's too late. So make sure you get that meter. And lastly, remember to please send in your donation. It's never too late. You can look for ways to donate online at bethelparkvfc.com. Anything from you, Council?
Anything in discussion from council? Thank you very much. If we can turn to the mayor's report, and Mayor Morton.
We have a young man with us tonight. He's working on his Eagle Badge, Stephen Condry, and I'd like to have him come up now. He's going to give us a report on his progress of his badge, and I just ask you to step right over there to that microphone. You might need your hands free. Stephen is in Troop 215, of course, in the Crocodile Patrol. I didn't know they had crocodiles. You're on, Steve.
Hi, I'm Steven, and I'm here. I'm back to just give another update on my project. The funds have been coming in, as you can see, because I have some of the kids here, and that's pretty much it. Like I'm coming along with the project. Things are going well. We're still welcoming donations, but I mean we're getting there, and it's all starting to come together, which is amazing for me. This was really overwhelming. But thank you to anyone who donated, and you can all keep those kits.
Stephen, some of them may not know your project. Just give it a brief.
My project is the Yellow Dot program. It's a lot like the local Vial of Life. It's you get one of those kits up there, and in it there's a vinyl sleeve that has 2 pockets. One pocket there's a sticker that goes on the rear windshield of your car, and in the other pocket there's a tri-fold piece of paper. One side has instructions, other side has room for medical information for up to 3 drivers, and that goes in the glove compartment of your car. And if you're in an automobile accident, the EMS first responders can better treat you on spot because they look and they see your information. So if you have some kind of condition or like anything like that, it really helps.
This is a great project. I think you're going to have good success with this. And I think everybody will end up with one of these in your car, too. If you don't, you'll probably wish you did.
I'd also like to thank the foundation as well, because they also donated to my project. So, Bethel Park Community Foundation.
Yes, sir.
May I just, I've been working with this boy, and we've conferred with Nora Helfrich, the director of the tri-community. Although she doesn't have money to support this type thing, she's fully in support of it. She feels that it'll really complement the Vial of Life program, and I believe that once this Scout gets this program started, people start seeing the yellow dots, the emergency people, tri-community, and the police respond, and we get some history on. The idea is that there will be a package in the glove compartment, just like there's a package in your freezer or your refrigerator at home.
That's right.
And I personally think, and it's going to take a few years, but I think it'll grow to cover the entire tri-community area, because I think it's that valuable. Thank you very much.
I agree with you, Mr. Harrison. Good point. Any other questions? Stephen has to run home and do his homework. You have something else?
I was just going to say thank you for having me here today.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
See you back.
Thank you.
time to talk about the seniors' birthdays for the month. And along with that, I would like to make a point to everybody out there who might be listening to this and are interested in the luncheon that's coming up on October 5th. This is the annual luncheon for the seniors over 90 years old. We're sending out invitations to them this week, so they'll be getting their invitations. This is our 8th year for this luncheon. It's been well attended over the years, and we're looking forward to a good turnout again this month. Now, I realize there's a lot of the people who are on the high plus side of 90 have a difficult time getting out, so we understand that, and some of them, of course, are ambulatory and they just can't move. So anyway, we wish them all a happy birthday each month. Helen Coet is 95 today. Happy birthday, or this month rather. Happy birthday to her. Elmer Smith, God love him, is 95 years old. Still walks around. I see him at Panera about twice a week. Eileen Orsini is 94. Many of you know Eileen. Agnes Falls, 94. Albert Borchik, 93. Henrietta Johnson is 93. Mary Gregoric is 92. And Beatrice Amy is 91. And we wish them all a very happy birthday. And that's our birthday people for the month of September. Now, Community Day. Community Day, as most of you know by now, got canceled. And if you were over there, if you weren't over there, you missed a great opportunity. We all got soaking wet. Somebody said to me while I was over there, when is the makeup day? And I said, the makeup day is September, second Saturday in September 2013. Next year. There is no makeup day for Rainouts on Community Day. We'll just wait and do it next year. I want to thank all the vendors, of course, the people who worked on this, in particular our recreation department and all the people who had a hand in putting it together. And it's a big job. It really is a huge job for the committee that does this to pull it together and do what they do. It's fantastic. So the thing that probably is most interesting about this storm was I've been telling council for 14 years, because we had 14 years of no rain on community days, that I did this by proclamation. And they laughed at me. And they kept telling me, oh. Well, I said, this year I'm not going to do a proclamation, and see what happens. You guys know now. Leave me alone.
Next year, Mayor.
Who to blame?
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mayor. At this time, I'd like to turn to Mr. Hannon, the approval of the minutes.
I move that we approve the regular council meeting minutes of August 13, 2012.
Second.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the regular council meeting minutes of August 13th, 2012. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Spagna, would you please call the roll?
Dixon,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Lowry,
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
The motion passes 7-0. At this time, I'd like to turn to the approval of the bills and payrolls, and Mr. Hannon.
Move that we approve the bills and payrolls for the municipality for bill list number 091012 in the amount of $1,365,690.66.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. We approve the bills and payrolls for the municipality per bill list number 091012 in the amount of $1,365,690.66. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Spagna, would you please call the roll?
Gibbons,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Lowry,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. At this time, I'd like to turn to the resident comment section for non-agenda items. If you'd like to come to the microphone and state your name and address. Okay, hearing none, can we turn to general policy and finance and Mr. Hannon?
Okay, we have one item on general policy and finance. I move that we approve an ordinance amending the municipality of Bethel Park police pension plan to comply with the Heroes Earnings Assistant Relief Tax Act and the Internal Revenue Code.
Second.
There's a motion and second that we approve the ordinance amending the municipality of Bethel Park police pension to comply with the Heroes Earnings Associated Relief Tax Act and the Internal Revenue Internal Revenue Code. I would this time, Mr. Spagno, could you give an overview to the community what that is?
What it basically is does a couple things. It keeps the police pension fund in compliance with IRS regulations. It also protects those individuals who would sign up for military service if they're working for the municipality and they sign up for military service if they should be deceased in the time that they're away from the municipality being the employer. It protects the survivors' benefits rights, wherein the time their time of retirement would be placed at the time they were deceased serving in the military, not the time they left from the municipality of Bethel Park in our employment. So it essentially protects their survivor benefit pension rights.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion? Mr. Spagno, would you please call the roll?
Hannon?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
McLean?
Yes.
Maury?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Dixon?
Yes.
Gibbons?
Yes.
7-0.
Motion passes 7-0. We just have, Mr. Hannon, any additional items?
No, sir.
Okay, I'd like to turn to Mark Ramito, our finance director. We're having a change upcoming in our sewer billing, if you want to give an overview of that.
Yeah, just a reminder that Pennsylvania American Water Company has eliminated their municipal sewer billing service effective the end of this month. So beginning next month, we're forced to choose someone else to begin sending our sewer bills, and it will be Jordan Tax Service who will be sending those out. They will send it out on a separate bill. Pennsylvania American Water Company will still send a water bill, so you'll still have to pay that. It'll be smaller, but that's because the sewer portion will be taken off and placed on a separate bill that will come from Jordan Tax Service. And there were several improvements from the last time Jordan billed for us. They'll bill in a letter-sized bill rather than the postcard that they used to send. They're offering expanded payment options such as payment online, automatic checking account withdrawal. You can still mail in a check, drop by the office, the Jordan Tax Service office, or put your payment in the orange drop box. But one of the newer things that they're offering is an e-billing option where you can receive your bill by email, and that's something we're encouraging residents to sign up for that service, so you can get that bill by email. That will actually save on the postage costs for the municipality too. So that's a convenient new option that they're offering as well. But that will begin next month. You'll get a separate sewer bill from them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Murray?
Mr. Harrison?
You said that you encourage people, and I encourage people to sign up for the e-billing. Could you give them information? Will there be information in the first mailing? Are we
Yes, we expect
information?
We expect information to be included in the first bill. As long as the system is set up and ready to go, we expect it to be. You won't be able to sign up prior to getting your first bill because you'll need information from your first bill in order to sign up for the service. But if there isn't, there should be information in the first bill that's received in October that will direct you on how to set up that service. We'll also try to mirror those instructions on the municipal website.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next announcement I'd like to make is, I guess, good news, bad news. We received the 2013 preliminary budget 2 weeks ago. The good news is that the millage rate is projected to remain the same as it was from 2012. The bad news is we're going to be looking at potentially raising sewer rates. We've had several bond issues. We've had probably over the last 20 years in excess of $40 million in work on our sewers, and this is something that we've been talking about for a couple of years. So I would encourage everybody, there's a copy of the budget in the library. Right now we're looking at our first meeting to discuss it from council on September 24th at 7:30. That'll be in the caucus room, our committee meeting, and we could potentially have a meeting on August 8th, August 15th, October 8th, October 15th, October 22nd, and with the tentative date of October 22nd, provided in its agreement with council that we'll be holding a public hearing, and then we could potentially adopt 2013 budget on November 12th of 2012. So if you'd have any questions, I'd encourage council. We don't need to wait till September 24th. I would encourage you to talk to any of the appropriate staff member. If you have any issues, comments, questions, so when we get to the meetings, they can be as productive as possible. But, you know, as we said last year when we went through the budget process, it's a work in process, and this one will be also. Is there any other discussion from council?
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Harrison.
I just wanted to embellish a little bit. The last two meetings from the dais here, I've spoken to the public and to the staff, encouraging them to sharpen their pencil and in preparing the preliminary 2013 budget and minimize the tax burden on the public, continuing to provide the services at the present level. And the first paragraph in the second, or the first sentence in the second paragraph that Mr. Spagnell sent to the council, and the mayor says the preliminary general fund budget, which is the largest of the funds, is presented with no proposed tax increase. So that's the good news that Mr. Murray told you. As my, I always kid as my backland, who's your brother would say, they done good. But the reason I wanted to speak to it is that I want to, since I brought it up the last two meetings and encouraged them to do that, I want to thank them for having sharpened their pencil or whatever they did to come up with this proposal. Thank you very much, staff.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion from council? Hearing none, we turn to planning and zoning and Mr. Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Mowry. We have one item under planning and zoning this evening. It's application number 2011-0360-88 Investors LP, plan number 1. Major subdivision, 88 Investors LP applicant. I move that we reapprove application number 2011-0360, 88 Investors LP, Plan Number 1, Major Subdivision for recording purposes.
Second. There's a motion and a second with a reapprove application number 2011-0360, 88 Investors LP, Plan Number 1, Major Subdivision for recording purposes. This is, in layman's terms, the sheets on Route 88, the former Columbia gas site that it's been in process for, I think I had hair when this whole thing started. It's been several years. Hopefully the third time's a charm that will address this. Wasn't that? Okay, any other discussion from council?
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Harrison.
I'd just like to just put on the record the fact that this development's in the 5th Ward, and I get a lot of questions about it. Most of them, since it hasn't developed, and it was expected to develop probably almost a year ago, that they're hopeful that it's going to disappear. The bad news is it's not going to disappear. It looks like it's just a matter of time before they start the project now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is there any other discussion from council? Hearing none, Mr. Spagna, would you please call the roll?
Harrison?
Yes.
McLean?
Yes.
Mowry?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Dixon?
Yes.
Gibbons?
Yes.
Hammond?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Mr. Dixon.
That's all we have under planning and zoning tonight. However, I do have one additional item.
Mr. Dixon.
Just want to give an update to the residents of Ward 4 over in the Locust Road area. Last couple of months we've been talking about getting a pedestrian access through the guide rail over there, and I just wanted to let you know that following up from last month, we did get the letter out to PennDOT. We are awaiting word from PennDOT whether that will be approved or not, and as soon as we hear from PennDOT, I'll let you all know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dixon. Any additional items? Hearing none, can we turn to health, safety, and welfare, and Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Mr. President. We have no agenda items this evening under health, safety, and welfare.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. Are there any additional items?
Yes, I have two additional items.
Mr. McLean.
Two public service announcements to make. The first is that this Saturday there will be an opportunity for people to bring for disposal certain common household chemicals that might otherwise be difficult to get rid of, that you can't put with your regular garbage pickup. It's going to be held on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the South Park Wave Pool parking lot. There are a list of certain items that they will accept and a list of certain that they will not. The list is available on the website. There's also a list here this evening for people who are here if they want to pick it up. But to give folks some idea of the acceptable items include gasoline and kerosene, pool chemicals, paint products, pesticides, items such as that. The items not accepted include things like propane tanks, drugs, tires, appliances. But you may want to check out before you take whatever you have in mind over there by checking the list that's on the website. But again, that's Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The second announcement is that the EMS is sponsoring a free flu shot day. For anyone age 18 or older, you can get a free flu shot on Saturday, September 22nd from noon to 3 p.m., and that'll be held at the classroom in the community center. That event is being advertised on BPTV, so you can see it there, and it's also information on the Bethel Park website. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. Are there any additional items?
There are none.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. At this time, can I turn to Public Works and Maintenance and Mr. O'Brien?
Thank you, Mr. Murray. There are no items on the agenda tonight for Public Works and Maintenance.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Are there any additional items?
I have one, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. O'Brien.
If you would notice, this month we are recognizing the Navy in the Veterans Memorial. So anyone who wants to get their picture taken with the beautiful flags recognized in a memorial for the Navy, come down anytime on a sunny day. It looks beautiful. The Navy flags up there is really kind of appropriate. Last month, we lost one of our World War II veterans who played a great part in building this memorial. That's Seaman First Class James Francis Fox. He is part of one of the greatest generations, if not the greatest generation, that ever served this country. James was a very good friend of mine. I've known him for over 30-some years. He broke me in my own professional business some time ago and taught me a lot about life, taught me a lot about what it meant to be a veteran, what it meant to be a man born at that time, how your attitude is always good, how you always persevere and carry on. When I entered into public service, he made a commitment to me that he would help me. And boy, did he help me. In fact, he loved his country and he loved his community so much that after I became in public office, he continued his public service. He just didn't walk away. In fact, he did so much work on the Veterans Memorial, the work behind the scenes. He didn't even want to be on the committee, but his name is on the memorial. He produced some great programs, like the Veterans Memorial promos. It won a nationally recognized award. The Names to Faces program, which is in the library today, which he gathered veteran stories and pictures to bring a face and a name to life when people look at the names on the memorial. They're still there. The display case outside when you walk out these chambers, that was his idea, and he maintained that case until he could no longer because of his illness and his age. Also, we interviewed veterans and captured their stories on videos. And then he went off somewhere else, and he had a collection of pictures from the last 50-some years he lived in this community and created a video production with Dave Cable called Pretty Pictures. It was just a series of pictures across Bethel Park over a period of years. But the thing that he did most, that was most memorable, and tomorrow is September 11th, I received from one of my wonderful residents, a Judith Mayer, a poem about 9/11. It was called Terror from the Skies. When I showed this poem to Mr. Fox, he said, we have to preserve this. We have to do something to remember this. So with the great, wonderful production and expertise of BPTV7, we took pictures and put it to Judith Meyer's words, and I was graciously asked to be the narrator. And it is in the library and in BPTV7. It's called Terror from the Skies. So What is even more remarkable, a few days after Mr. Fox's death, I received an envelope. And this envelope, you can see how colorful it is. I know it's from Judith, because this is the way her letters arrive. And there was a beautiful card in it, very sincere about Mr. Fox's passing. And always, I see the multicolored paper, and I know Judith is going to bless us with a poem. But she threw a curve at me at this time. She wrote a poem that can apply to anyone who lost a very dear person in life. And it's a poem which speaks from that person to all of us. And I'd like to share it with you tonight. It's called My Love Surrounds You by Judith Mayer. Ever so softly, the angels swept me away to the beautiful gates of heaven to pass through on this day. I had time to say goodbye. Don't be too sad. Try not to cry. When Jesus called, I had to go. My time had come. I just couldn't say no. A hope in time I'll be remembered with a smile upon my face. No need for tears to flow. Let them dry without a trace. For I will always be with you. Please keep that in mind. My love will surround you forever, all the time. You see me in a flower, in a snowflake that drifts by. You'll hear me in a medley or just a friendly hi. I am at peace now with Jesus by my side. I am safe and happy. In heaven I reside. I will rest now with love in my heart till we meet again, never more to part. Salute you, Mr. Fox. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Any other discussion?
Move we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Good night, everyone.
If you could do one thing to help prevent 36,000 deaths, help decrease hospitalizations and the spread of disease, what would it be? Get a flu shot.
Influenza is a serious disease that can lead to hospitalization and sometimes even death.
The flu can affect people differently. Even healthy people can get very sick from the flu, spreading the disease throughout the area.
In 2011, the CDC reported that 20% of the U.S. population contracted the flu, with over 200,000 people being admitted to a hospital for flu-related complications.
By getting a flu vaccine, you can reduce your chances of getting the flu and the possibility of spreading the flu.
When more people get vaccinated against the flu, it decreases the spread of the disease throughout the area, making your community a safer, healthier place to live.
Tri-Community South EMS is offering free flu vaccines to adults in our local communities of Bethel Park, South Park, and Upper St. Clair.
So do one thing this year. Get a flu shot. It can save your life as well as others.
For information on flu shots, contact Tri-Community South EMS.
illegal is illegal, and that's what we have to take care of it at the border. Why don't they put blimps up? I think one of the issues is flying airplanes is going to cost money. So I'd throw out, put a blimp up there, run blimps from both sides of the fence line, and they run probably at a...
How can Mr. Bolt have it so wrong? That is one of the worst ideas I have ever heard. Wait, what's this story? Military surveillance blimps tested at the Texas-Mexico border? Bolt had it right all along. Oh man, I'm never going to hear the end of this one.
Good morning, this is Mr. Bold calling for Mr. Dave Cable. Back in 2006, Mr. Bold was on Bethel Park right now, and if Mr. Bold recalls correctly, he was poo-pooed by Mr. Dave Cable back in 2006 for really being a wacko when it comes to suggesting blimps along the border. I told you back then that I hoped that I never saw anything official using the word blimp. Well, much to my enjoyment, the word blimp has been used in an official article when they talk about patrolling the borders. It's unfortunate that Bethel Park doesn't have any billboards because Mr. Bull would be looking for some type of public apology from Mr. Dave Cable regarding his poo-pooing of the suggestion of using blimps to control the borders. I await your call. Thank you.
I deserve that.